Hey everyone, it's Job. Welcome back to the channel and Happy New Year. By the time you're watching this, it's probably the New Year's already in your region, so I wanted to wish you a very Happy New Year and a very happy holidays and a belated Merry Christmas. I had a wonderful vacation in Barcelona, but I got back about yesterday, and after recovering from jet lag, well, I'm kind of partially recovered. I thought I would record one last video before the new year hit, and I really wanted to finish my East Coast travel journal. So I kind of worked on this here and there. I actually worked on some of this before leaving for my trip, and then since I was jet lagged, I did do some filming, and yeah, I finished it. That was one of my goals for 2019. I wanted to finish this travel journal before 2020, and I did. So I'm so excited about this, and I just wanted to show you the rest of the process. So basically, in the last installment of this series, I completed I think 2 or 3 spreads, and today I'm just completing one of the final spreads in this journal. I think it was one of the last days that I was in Toronto, or at least the last full day, and I think I went to the AGO, or the Art Gallery of Ontario, that day. There was this amazing exhibit by I'm forgetting her name, but she's a Japanese artist. I think it's Hayao Miyazaki. No, something along those lines. She's a famous artist, and she has like this amazing art style where she uses a lot of dots and like repeating patterns. I believe her name is, no, it's not Hayao Miyazaki. That is, who is that actually? Yayoi Kusama. I totally butchered her name, but I really wanted to see her exhibit because I missed her exhibit when I was in Japan a few years ago in 2015. So I'm glad I finally got to see that, and it was really amazing. I really liked seeing her art in person, and it's really immersive. Basically, there was I think it was like a room with a whole bunch of mirrors and these spheres that were made out of like a mirrored surface, so it looked like an infinity room. She's also known for those infinity rooms with like the lights, and it kind of makes you feel like you're in outer space. It's amazing. I still have yet to see that, but I've seen like photos of it online, so it looks like a really fun experience. But I didn't really add too much like details about that that little trip to the AGO because I wanted to speed through this, and I thought I'll do the journaling later. I'll just add all the elements that I wanted to add. So I think that was like the actual last part of my journal actually. So I decided to add like a little bit of like a photo album at the end of this journal, which is something that I don't really do, and I absolutely want to incorporate more of these photo like albums or like mini albums at the end of my travel journals, because there are some photos that I kind of forget to add to like a journal spread, or sometimes the photos just don't like make it to the spread because I have all of this ephemera that I've collected, and the photos kind of take like a back seat because I have them on my phone, and I know I should be incorporating more of these photos into my day-to-day journal because it just looks so cool, and you kind of mix like a mini album or a photo album into your journal, but I don't regularly do that, so that's something that I want to do in more travel journals, is to incorporate more photos. And I basically printed out a whole bunch of photos, and I only used my photo printer, not my photo printer, my regular like inkjet printer, because I didn't have a chance to run over to like a pharmacy or like a London Drugs to get my photos developed. But it turned out great because then I had the ability to write on top of these photos because they are just printed on paper. And I kind of added photos from the exhibit that I went to, and then a photo from, where is that? I think it's is it Brookfield Place, where they had that little installment with like the cute little cloud. And then I added more photos. So I actually went to visit my friend Riza, and she brought me around Nathan Phillips Square, which is like the main, I guess it's It's kind of like no, it's not Times Square. It's kind of like the Times Square of Toronto, I think. And then I added a photo from my trip to Montreal when I went with my friend Miggy. We went to Notre Dame. I think it's a cathedral. So it's like similar to the Notre Dame in Paris. It looks very similar to it, but also very different. So that contradicts itself. It has a similar feel to it. And then I added a photo from Wonder Pens, which I loved. I really want to visit again. And then I added, I think, a selfie of myself from Niagara Falls. I wonder if I edited it out. Oh, and I went back to some old journal spreads and I added some photos to it. So that was one of the things that I talked about earlier, in which I said that I have a hard time incorporating photos because I have all this ephemera. I decided to cover up this ticket that I put on one of the spreads because I realized, looking back in this journal, that ticket on, I think that's like the Ottawa spread, that ticket's actually not from Ottawa. That was from Montreal. So I put the ephemera on the wrong place. And it was just a parking ticket. So I thought, I guess it doesn't really matter if I add like a photo over top to cover it, because this photo makes more sense in this spread than that ticket. So I did that, and then I went back to the back page of the journal, and I added more washi tape. This is like, I added 2 thick strips of washi tape. One is like a house motif, and one is like a vintage, I don't know what you would call it, like a vintage glasses, vintage aesthetic washi tape, both in yellow tones. And then I added more photos. So I think there was a photo from Momofuku Noodle Bar, which is one of my bucket list places that I wanted to visit while I was in Toronto, because I love David Chang. I love all of his Netflix shows. I love Momofuku Milk Bar and Christina Tosi. I just really like Noodle Bar and Momofuku and David Chang. And I added a photo of the time that I went to, I think it's a Korean restaurant. They had really good samgyeopsal, which is 3-layer pork belly. Since Riza and I met in Korea, we usually like to eat at Korean restaurants. So she took me to her favorite Korean barbecue place. We also went to Nome. I think it's like a Japanese tapas, like, it's not all you can eat, but like a Japanese restaurant, and they had like a bakashuck deal, and I actually was not a fan of oysters, or like fresh oysters, before this trip. I thought I liked the idea of oysters, but I didn't really like them. But when I was at that trip, I absolutely loved them, and I think I'm an oyster addict now, but I'm trying to stay away from that because of health reasons. And then we went to another like pancake place. I think it's a Japanese pancake place, and oh my gosh, this was amazing. I'm trying to look for like a fluffy Japanese pancake place in Vancouver. But as you can see, I've pretty much completed this whole journal, but there's no journaling in it, like about the actual trip in terms of my own experiences. I did all of like the scrapbooking and all the ephemera adding, and the layouts are pretty much done, but I'm slowly gonna go through and add all of the written accounts of my trip. And I actually have a Word document that I have with like a little bit of a summary for each day. So if I get lazy, I'm just gonna print that out and put it in my journal, because I just want this to be done. But this is pretty much it, folks. If you want to see like a more detailed flip through, I'll do that in the future. But I hope you had a very wonderful holidays, and I hope 2020 is an amazing year for you. I hope your planner is filled with amazing plans and adventures. I hope your journals are full of fun memories, and I just hope your new decade is amazing. I know 2019 was an amazing year for me. I finally got to produce my own washi tapes and the creator box and the Etsy store. There was just so much that happened, and I'm so grateful for everything and everyone who has supported me. And I feel like I've been very very, very like sentimental in these past videos, but I truly do mean it, and I'm so thankful for everyone who watches this channel and supports me. There will be more content in 2020, and I'll definitely continue to post on here regularly. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the new year. Oh, that joke is totally old and doesn't really make sense because you're probably watching this in the new year, but see you in the new year. Bye, everyone.